Well, somebody desperately needs to tell Soren that flossing is so 2020. Is it? Is it 2021? I don't know, but it just feels old. Why is he flossing? What's going on, everyone? James here with another real breakdown, and we're going to get into the season 4 premiere of The Dragon Prince. That's right, season 4 episode 1 Rebirthday is out live on the Dragon Prince's official YouTube channel. Now we're going to have to wait for the rest of the season on November 3rd when it drops on Netflix, but you know, we reacted to episode 1. I was up late last night. You can find that floating around at the top of the screen or in the description below, and of course you'll be getting every single reaction from me starting on November 3rd. You'll be getting daily reactions, so it's going to be a ton of fun to react to the entire season with you guys. And if it's anything like it started, I think there's only room to grow from here. Now, I won't be able to break down every single episode like we're doing today, but I figured it's something fun to do while we wait for the rest of the season. But before we get into it, if it is your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James, where I love talking about the Dragon Prince, movies, TV, and all the news in between. So if you don't want to miss out, hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, and tap on the bell again so you don't miss out on any of my coverage for season 4, and hit the thumbs up button if you're a big fan of season 4 episode 1. And let me know in the comments, is there anything I missed in this breakdown? I'm sure we're going to go through some of the frame by frame shots, and I might miss things, but you let me know, fill in the blanks if you can, and let me know what you thought of episode 1 when you get a chance to watch it yourself. Alrighty guys, well, you know what, let's waste no more time, and let's get right into my breakdown of season 4 episode 1. Of course, in order to start any Dragon Prince episode, you have to get the classic bait intro, and it's always good to see his face to start an episode. But the first actual human that we see in this show to begin season 4 is Viren, and he wakes up in a cave with Claudia after being dead for 2 years. But one thing I did miss in my reaction was that the staff from the Sunfire High Priest that he used to corrupt that dark magic plus the magic from the Sunfire Elves to turn all of those soldiers into lava warriors was literally right next to him, and it looked to still be active. And if you miss this on first glance, it's okay because they do revisit it, but there is blood on Viren's crown. Now, I do hope they give us a flashback episode to show how battered and broken Viren was, because Claudia alludes to this later in the episode. I can only imagine we're going to get a flashback episode with Racquel to catch us up to speed as to where she is now, and then we might get one for Ehasz, but I do think with Viren's blood on this crown and, you know, Claudia saying that he was broken, I kind of want to see what happened to Viren in that time period too, and then Claudia going on that adventure, which we'll dive into now. Shortly afterwards, we get the cocoon that is revealed, the one that we've seen in so many clips and trailers, but Claudia says this creepy caterpillar friend of Viren's spun itself into a cocoon and is changing. Now later we learn that whatever's in this cocoon isn't actually Ehasz, it's this being. It's very mysterious, but Ehasz was speaking with Claudia, and to me, I think Ehasz is leading Claudia astray. This being is supposed to help Claudia find a way to help keep Viren alive and point them in the right direction, but Ehasz is saying all of this while being trapped in a magical hidden prison somewhere. Again, in that poster that we got, the very first season 4 poster, we see Claudia is a part of one of 3 characters that are on strings, and Ehasz is controlling it like a puppeteer. So Ehasz to me is just using Claudia, and now, by virtue of proximity and Viren being with Claudia, using Viren as well. And of course, Viren learns throughout the course of this episode that he's only alive for 30 days after Claudia had completed the resurrection spell alone. The way she was talking about this resurrection spell was pretty bad, y'all. I don't know what happened, what she went through, what she endured, but maybe we will see that in a flashback episode, because it ain't sound pretty. But you know what was pretty? The intro that we got for season 4. This intro is beautiful. It's all brand new, and clearly we have some Easter eggs to talk about. So we see Ehasz's hands opening up a map per usual, but the map is different this time. So I can see archdragons on this map with Sol Regum right at the top, and at the bottom of the map we see each primal source, right? You have Earth, Sky, Ocean, Moon, Sun, and Stars. My takeaway at least was maybe this is indicating that Ehasz is going to eventually harness all of this magic, and he's going to use every single primal source for his own good, which is bad for everyone else. Now, I can only guess as to what the other symbols on the map mean. I mean, I'm looking and I see a Sunfire Elf, and maybe a priest, and I see a crown in the middle of the map, but is it possible that Erebos needs all of the stars to align for his master plan to work, and this is the blueprint? That would be really dope, and I can see them going in that direction with some surprises along the way. Now, alright, in this intro, we do get one character, and that is Viren. He looks like he's pleading for help before he turns into stone and a single tear trickles down his cheek. And then a hand comes swooping in, grabbing Viren in the statue form, holding Viren in the palm of his hand with a devilish smile. And you just know he's up to no good. But here's my theory. I think we get a new character for each arc in Season 4. The first arc being episodes 1 through 3, and that's Viren. The second arc being episodes 4 through 6, and that's Claudia. And then to round it out is Callum in the third arc with episodes 7 through 9. That's my theory. Now, if I'm wrong, but I'm going to stick with this. After the intro, we do get introduced to Callum, who is seemingly obsessed with the mirror Viren used to communicate with Erebos in previous seasons. But later we learn that Callum is waiting on an ancient book from Aunt Amaya to actually understand these runes, and that book is called the Tome of Translation. It's from Zadia, and he wants to use it to understand what the heck this mirror is. Good thing and a bad thing, because we know Callum has a good heart, but this mirror has corrupted people in the past, or it's led to corruption. We don't want that for our boy. It's also nice to learn how far advanced Callum is as High Mage, with his magic skills completely maturing. On the way to the council meeting, he cast a spell. I might pronounce this wrong, but it's Pluvium Presidium, and that gives him an umbrella of sorts to protect from the rain. It's not really like an umbrella, but it seems to be some sort of like force field that prevents rain and some of the elements from passing through it, which is really, really cool. But right before all of that, I noticed there was this bust of a previous king seen in the hallway. I couldn't guess who it was originally, but based on the history of Katolis, after its first ruler, who was the Orphan Queen, King Harrow was put into power. So is this King Harrow? I almost find it hard to believe though, because King Harrow looked nothing like the bust, that statue, in the hallway. Maybe there's more history to Katolis that we are not led to believe just yet, and it's going to be unveiled soon, at least I hope. So if you're an Amaya and Janai fan, don't worry, we get introduced to them really quickly in this episode as well. But right before that, we see a wide shot with dark clouds in the background. Now I'm at a loss for what this could be, but is it anything to do with the Storm Spire? Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. Again, this is one of those blanks that I have no answers for. The episode lingers a little bit with General Maya, Janai, and Gren, but we eventually are cutting back to the King's Council meeting, and it is nice to see everyone present at the table, and Barris getting recognized by King Ezran and becoming Minister of Crusts and Jellies. Now, this is the kind of humor that I tend to expect from the Dragon Prince, but it's also pretty funny. However, we also got Soren flossing in this scene too, and that's not very funny. But the pin he wears, right, that Barris has, it's a nice nod to Game of Thrones, where the Hand of the King wears a similar pin to that. It's pretty cool. I like the writing, and you can tell that Aaron Ehasz and Justin and Richmond really know what they're doing. And King Ezran, who is definitely grown up and wearing a crown made from King Harrow's sword, he announces a surprise, and this is a good surprise, and it maybe is not the best surprise for some of the residents of Katolis. Special guests are on their way, guys. Yes, that's right. You got the Dragon Queen, and you got Zim coming to town. Of course, some are happy, some are timid, just like Opeli. She is, let's just say she's not excited at the prospect of these dragons. I would say upsetting the residents, or maybe even scaring them enough to where they don't feel safe in their own kingdom, and that's not great. It also showcases this divide between the human kingdoms and Zadia, so there's still a lot of work to be done by Callum and the gang. Now, let's go right back to the proposal scene with Janai and Amaya, which was really beautiful and well done. It was also nice to see Gren in this traditional Sunfire Elf ceremonial garb, but the entire scene was beautiful. Even though I can't understand sign language, I'm gonna imagine that the show does a really good job at accurately capturing proper sign language. So did Janai truly sign "I want to wrestle with you"? Because if that's the case, that's hilarious. But let me know in the comments below. I know some of you, of course, in the community have let me know that they're doing a pretty good job at sign language and the representation in that area. And even though this is a lot of introduction for where our characters are at this certain point in time, there are some really cool moments that, well, open the door for many theories. Like when the key of Erebos makes an appearance, Soren is holding it while having a conversation with Callum. But here's the thing, it never glowed with the Sky Arcanum towards Callum, and I found that to be a little weird. Didn't mention it in my reaction and my thoughts afterwards, but upon a rewatch and just kind of sitting down with it, I'm almost wondering if something is amuck with the key of Ehasz. Maybe Ehasz knows of this key, right, in a way, and something is wrong. Like there's something disrupting all of these different arcanums and the magical primal sources. I don't know, but I'm curious to hear what you guys think. And of course, leading up to Callum and his surprise birthday, it is nice to see Callum spread his wings and fly, literally, and then he gets surprised for his birthday. Now, I think it's cute. I love that King Ezran put this together with Soren, Corvus, and everyone else that was present, but the Katolis birthday song is tragic. I'm sorry, you guys. Eventually, we get transported back to the cave with Viren, Claudia, and Claudia's boyfriend, Terry, an Earth Blood elf. He is so cool. Protect him. I just feel bad because Claudia's not great, not one of my favorites in the show. I mean, she's a good character, but she is very much leaning into the antagonist corner. She's sticking with Viren after everything that happened. She's sticking technically now with Ehasz, so it's very weird, but I loved Terry's little quip when he's meeting Viren. He says, trees to meet you. Get it? Earth blood, elf, trees, earth, leaves. Oh, and if the episode didn't make it clear, it wasn't done with this flossing joke because it showcases it again at the birthday celebration with these two kids, and even Opelli makes a comment. Again, this just all feels really dated and I don't like it. There's also another thing I don't like in this episode, but that might be a video for another day. I'll work on it. Now, the Associate Crow Lord is... this guy is just going to be a running joke, isn't he? But it's funny because he says that to this girl. He's like, did you know I'm the Associate Crow Lord now? And she is not impressed. Her eye roll knocked me out. It was hilarious. But this is all leading to a very intimate one-on-one conversation between Callum and Ezran overlooking the balcony, and they are just talking under the moon, and it's really emotional. It's probably the most emotional moment of the episode where, and yes, we've seen this before, but it was still hit hard. Callum says he's sad because his birthday marks the anniversary of Racquel leaving. Even though he still loves her, he doesn't even know if she's alive. And then the episode ends, but there is something that one of the members of the real family went ahead and pointed out. You guys are so awesome. I can't remember the name of the user, but if you're watching this, thank you for pointing out this theory. It's not a full moon yet, right? And when we first saw Racquel in the official trailer, she was in her moon shadow elf form. So is it possible that we get Racquel maybe in episode 2 or episode 3? Because the moon looks like it's getting closer to becoming full, and that would be really dope. And it's a really cool observation. So yeah, I think we're getting Racquel much sooner than the middle of the season. And that's it for the main episode, but there is of course end credits where we love and we come to know that there's going to be concept art. So let's go ahead and break down the artwork in the end credits. We get Amaya and Janai, get Terry, Callum and Ezran's portrait that mirrors the king's portrait that Hero and Viren took together, if you remember from previous seasons. You have Barris's pin. Callum is reading the letter that I assume was what Racquel wrote to him, which we did cover that short story on the channel. And then there's the Sunfire Elf during the ceremony. And that's about it, y'all, for Season 4, Episode 1 of The Dragon Prince. Again, my reaction is live, so go ahead and watch it along with me. It is such a fun time to be a Dragon Prince fan, and now I'm really excited for November 3rd. But you let me know in the comments what you thought of this episode and what did I miss during this breakdown. And let me know down below as well what you're expecting for the future of this season, and hit the big red button below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Tap on the bell and hit the thumbs up button again if you are a big fan of the Dragon Prince, y'all. This was fun, but I need a lozenge or a jelly tart or both. Alrighty, y'all. Again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you at the next screening.